Hello, everyone. That was from academia, where the foundation is laid, right? But then the ideas are truly tested when they meet the realities of industry, right? And that's exactly the focus of our next session, next keynote speech, the special keynote speech. Uh, so we have Dr. Seth, Deepak Seth from Gartner, who is actually going to talk more about how do we bridge that gap between the academia and the industry itself. Let's give a round of applause to Dr. Seth.
In a world transformed by data and
video.
artificial intelligence, leadership matters more than ever. Meet Deepak Seth, a veteran technology leader with more than 2 decades at the forefront of data, analytics, and AI or ML innovation. As a director analyst and AI expert at Gartner, he guides global leaders on creating the next generation of data and AI strategy. Recognized widely across industry forums as an AI or ML subject matter expert, Deepak is a trusted voice in the press and author of a respected AI newsletter. Beyond Gartner, he serves as an adjunct professor at Texas Christian University, shaping tomorrow's technology leaders with practical, real-world insight. His career spans leadership roles at Accenture, Charles Schwab, Xerox, and as senior advisor at Cordis Factor, driving transformation, engineering complex platforms, and elevating technology across industries. Armed with degrees from IIT Roorkee, IIM Calcutta, Johns Hopkins, and UT Austin, Deepak stands as a champion of responsible AI and data-driven transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Deepak Seth.
Vanakkam. That wasn't too loud. I think Chicago chapter would have given me a warmer welcome. Why don't you guys all stand up? We had a great speaker ahead of before me. Let's give him a big round of applause. Come on, stand up and do it. Awesome. Yeah, this was only because I had a bet with Arun saying I'll get a standing ovation within the first 2 minutes. Yeah, so I got a standing ovation within 2 minutes. First of all, thanks. I'm so honored to be invited to speak to all of you guys. A lot of experts in AI, a lot of people who want to know about AI, and it's an exciting opportunity to be here. I'm not a native Tamil speaker. I'm not a Tamil speaker at all. But I know about Silpadikaram and Mani Meklai. Does that give me some points? Yeah. So when I was at IIM Calcutta, in my wing, we had 2 guys from Chennai. One was called Bada Tambi, other was called Chota Tambi. One was big, other was small, and they were amongst my best buddies. It's an honor that way. So when we are speaking about AI, I had an interesting experience a couple of years ago. So somebody had done an interview with me. It was recorded. It was a sit-down interview with a journalist. And when the recording came out, at that time, a software had come out called HeyGen. Anybody heard of HeyGen? Okay. So what HeyGen does is it takes a video and it translates it into any language, and it makes it sound as if the speaker is speaking that language, and it does a pretty good job with the lip sync and everything. So there was this interview of mine, which was in English. It was done by a journalist here. And then what I did, you know what? Let me make a recording. Let me try out HeyGen, and let's put it in Tamil. Yeah. So amongst all the languages I tried it in, one was in Tamil. So I did translate it. I took it through the software, got a Tamil version of it, sent it to my father in India. He was 80 plus that time. He passed away last year. And I said, what do you think of this? And you know what his response was? When did you learn Tamil? Yeah, so the translation, the whole lip syncing and all was so perfect that he was fooled by it. And then I asked my other Tamil-speaking colleagues and friends, what do you think about that? And they said it was good, but it was like in the newsreader style of Tamil, yeah? Doordarshan Tamil, the sane Tamil or something, yeah? So it was very formal Tamil. It wasn't the colloquial Tamil. So, but it was fascinating. So even 2 years ago, these things were going on. Since then, means AI has pervaded almost anything and everything we do. How many of you are using AI in some way, shape, or form every day? Come on, I see every hand go up. How many of you are actually working in enterprises where you're trying, your entrepreneurship effort is focused around AI? So lots of hands go up again. Yeah, there was this interesting news story, I think, in the Wall Street Journal or New York Times, where a journalist said that, you know what, I will try to spend full 24 hours without using AI. And he couldn't do it. It's impossible. Because anything and everything you do, because if you have to travel somewhere, you're using Google Maps is AI. You order anything of Amazon, the logistics and shipping and everything related to do that is AI. So AI is already there in almost everything which we do. And earlier, means Russ mentioned he studied AI in the 80s or 90s, or maybe earlier 70s. Russ, I don't know how old you are, so with no offense to you. But how old is AI? Any guesses which decade it was, the term was first coined? Was it the 70s? How many think 70s? I see a few hands goes up. 60s? See a few hands go up. 90s? No. So yeah, it was first coined in the 50s. Yeah. So the first group which got together to talk about AI, Dartmouth, and recently somebody published a photo of the first proposal they put together. The date on that was September 1st, 1955. Yeah. Let's get together to talk about AI, McCarthy, and there was a few, MacArthur and a few other people. So it was 70, it's 70 years old. So it has been around a long, long time, yeah? But it was what we can now call traditional or classic AI, more around data science and machine learning, making predictions using data. So for example, you could failure analysis or market basket. If you bought this, what else would you buy? Or on Netflix, I watched this movie, what other movie should you watch? All that was AI. But now in organizations, and I'll share with you what's going on in organizations because you are entrepreneurs, you want to know what's going on in organizations. So in organizations, AI is coming at people in 3 different ways. Yeah? One is what we can call the classic or traditional AI, which comes from the data science and machine learning teams. You've got data, you build models, and you deploy them in production to do stuff like what we talked about, market basket and whatever other recommendation engines and stuff like that. The other kind of AI is what we call bring your own AI. So bring your own AI is any individual or team comes across a tool which uses AI, which may be built by one of you, and they want to get it into the company. For example, somebody builds a tool which converts text to video. Yeah? Sora does that, and I'm sure there are other applications too. So it converts text to video, and you say, wow, I need to get this into my company because I'll make cool videos without hiring any actors. Yeah? Something like that. So that's bring your own AI. And then the third AI is AI embedded in software. So whatever software an organization is using, whether it is Google, whether it's Microsoft, I heard Workday mentioned, ServiceNow, GitHub, Atlassian, name it, everybody is embedding AI into their core capabilities. So AI is coming at enterprises from 3 different directions, yeah? Your classic build AI, you have got bring your own AI, and you have got AI embedded in software. So people who are managing AI within organizations have to figure out how to run, control, manage, deploy all these 3 different kinds of AI. Make sense? So sometimes, where are we with AI? Sometimes, so I work at Gartner, yeah? So Gartner is an advisory service. We talk to clients, we evaluate vendors, and over the course of last year, I have had almost like 650 to 700 conversations with CIOs, chief data and analytics officers, AI leaders in different organizations. So they set up sessions just to get a sense of what's going in the market, what should they be doing, how do they frame their strategy. And I jokingly, sometimes I start off the conversation jokingly saying to them, where we are with AI right now is everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die. Yeah? So it's an interesting thing. For some of you, it hits straight away. For some of you, it will come in a little while. But yeah, how can you get to heaven without dying? So this is where all the responsible AI, ethical AI, AI governance, all that comes into play. So so we don't have enough time to dwell in all of that. But then as entrepreneurs, you are trying to figure out, where do I position myself, my product, my offering? How do I make it more relevant for large enterprises? Yeah. So one of the interesting things is, when we look at the AI spectrum and your products also, the way they are used in enterprises can fall in three categories. So the first one is which are low cost to the company, but they deliver low value also, which we call the defend use cases. So the defend use cases are, you roll out Office 365 Copilot for everyone. Or if you have got developers, you roll out GitHub Copilot for everyone. Any kind of Copilot, assistant, things of those kind could be called a defend use case. Yeah, easy to do. Yeah. The other one now, which is increasing in cost, complexity, and risk, but could deliver higher value, is something what we call the extend use cases. In the extend use cases, you are tying AI to a specific business process or workflow. So you're saying, hey, I built an application for you which will help make your credit card processing better or something. So that's an extend use case. Or you said that we will build something which allows, we have put a knowledge base together so that the customer service agents can respond to calls in a faster way. I've got 4 minutes more. Yeah. And so that those are the extend use cases. And then the third kind of use cases, which can deliver the highest value, but also require the highest cost, is what we call the append use cases, UPEND, which are the ones where you are building something truly revolutionary. You are saying, we'll change the world. We are building our own large language model or small language model or domain-specific language model or whatever it means. So that's the append use cases. So increasingly, I think it came up in the conversation earlier also, companies are asking, hey, we made these AI investments. How do we get value from them? And if you're an entrepreneur, you have to convince the companies that your product is going to deliver value from them. So the interesting thing is, for the defend use cases, yeah, the one which I talked about, like the rolling out the Copilot and stuff, it is very difficult to measure the value. So Microsoft will say that Office 365 Copilot saves every employee 14 minutes of time per day. Yeah? But that 14 minutes of time, they use it to do something more productive, or they go to Starbucks and get more coffee. Yeah? And even if they go and get more coffee, does that coffee make them more productive in whatever they are doing or not? Can't say. Yeah? So for the defend use cases, we say what you will get is a return on employee. So the employees will feel better. Yeah, I got this cool tool, I do stuff in it. There are individual productivity gains and stuff, but you cannot quantify them. So you get a return on employee. For the extend use cases, where you have tied AI to the specific process or workflow, you can quantify. So whatever are the metrics you use to judge the performance of that process could be used to judge the value you are getting from AI. So earlier on, my call center was able to take only 30 calls per hour, but after I deployed this AI capability, they can take 60 calls per hour. So that's a metric, that's a success, that's a value metric, it's straight ROI. So for extend use cases, companies will get a return on investment. And then again, the append use cases, where you are trying to do something very revolutionary, it is very difficult to measure the ROI. So you are placing a bet on the future, so you'll get a return on the future. So for defend use cases, return on employee, For extend use cases, return on investment. For append use cases, return on the future. So most organizations, when they now thinking of AI, their AI investments, they are looking as a portfolio. So they need to have a healthy mix of all of these, depending upon the kind of organization they are. So if it's a very ROI-focused organization, ROI, return on investment, value-focused organization, they would want most of their use cases to be, which category? Extend, yeah? Most of the use cases need to be extend. If they are a very disruptive kind of organization, where should most of their AI use cases should be? Append. And if they are a fear of missing out kind of organization, we are just doing AI for the sake of AI, just checking the box, every employee should have AI, then most of their use cases will be in the different category. So as an entrepreneur means you have to get a sense of what that organization is all about so that you can position your products, your offering accordingly. So one more thought I will cover. Maybe I'll go a little bit over time. I think since Russ did that, I am allowed to do that also. He set a dangerous precedent. Blame Russ. Yeah. So now, so people deploy AI capabilities in their organization. Yeah, people have rolled out Office 365, Copilot and stuff. And they're having this conversation saying, hey, we are not seeing any, we were tracking the usage, but we see hockey stick curve like usage, yeah? Initially, the usage goes up very high, and then it drops off a cliff, and they're saying, hey, what's going on? Why did the usage drop? And I tell them that in most cases, the rollout of this kind of capabilities, Office 365 Copilot and GitHub Copilot and others, was a CYA by the CIO under CEO pressure, yeah? The CEOs were going after the CIO saying, hey guys, what are we doing about AI? We need to do something about AI. And the easiest thing for the CIO to do was give out 30 licenses, 300, 3,000, whatever number to employees in the company. And then they're thinking, hey, why is the usage dropping? I said the usage is dropping because you made it a technology-centric deployment. You just rolled it out, check the box. But what you need to do is make it role or persona based. Yeah? And they say, hey, what do you mean by role or persona based? I'll just take 2 minutes. Yeah, role or persona based is, let's take a typical capability of AI. It's very great at content summarization. Yeah? You give it a bunch of content and it will create great summaries. Everybody used it for any of that? Yeah? Any hands go up? Okay, few. Yeah. It's one of the basic capabilities of AI. But how different people in the organization will use that capability will be different. How Sally in recruitment will use it will be different from how Tom in procurement would use it versus how Harry in marketing would use it. So in recruitment, maybe Sally will pull in 20 resumes and create a comparative summary of candidates for an interview. Harry in procurement will take 20 bid responses from vendors and create a vendor evaluation summary or something of that kind. So what you need to, and this is very important for entrepreneurs, what companies need to do for making AI successful is put a wrapper on AI. And say, what do you mean by wrapper? The wrapper could be a people wrapper, a process wrapper, or a technology wrapper. The people wrapper is you identify the super users or champions within the company, and they'll figure out the technology and they bring everyone up to speed. The process wrapper is you codify the set of processes where AI could be used and make it available to everyone in a cohort. Hey, Sally and your colleagues, this is what you do to create the comparison summary. And the technology wrapper is you build a little widget or application which allows the Sallys and Harrys and Toms just to click one button, pull everything in, and do the task which they need to do. So there's a lot of opportunity in those kind of things. Building the processes, building the wrappers, are the people wrapper, process wrapper, and the technology wrapper, where entrepreneurs can have a big role to play. So before I leave, just three closing points. So there's AI is a change, so you have to be aware of the change. So sessions like this, and I'm sure already most of you are aware, So you have to be aware of the change. That's the first part. The second part is you have to be ready to drive change. Yeah, people want to use these tools within companies, so you have to drive the change or drive your own organization to build capabilities to address those needs. So aware of the change, drive change, and in some cases you have to be the change. And so you're all entrepreneurs. Thanks for being entrepreneurs. Thanks for being the change. And I think I have overstayed my welcome already, but this was a great session talking to you all.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Deepak Seth. Let's give a standing ovation to Deepak Seth. I'm very serious, okay? Let me tell you why. So I have been a client of Gartner for over 25 years. Okay, we used to conduct what we call it as Gartner SaaS Day, Strategic Advisory Services Day. I'm sure Ganesh and others would have done it with Gartner several times. Do you know how expensive it is to hear the words of wisdom from an eminent analyst like Deepak Seth is invaluable. So once again, let's give a big ovation to Deepak Seth. And as a small token of appreciation, may I request Jay Mariappan, founder of Samatva Wealth Management, one of our sponsors for the last several years, to recognize Deepak Seth. Thank you, Deepak.
Thank you. I feel like I'm amongst family. I don't know the Tamil word for thank you. This is where I say Nandri. This is where I say Tamil Taryade.
Your Tamil is brilliant. Thank you, Deepak. Okay.
So